So I want to ask you about the security of handwritten signatures. We all know that no two signatures are ever the same, so never identical. Isn't that an invitation to forgery?
No. The reason why signatures are never identical is the fact that signing and writing are dynamic aspects of human behavior. When a forensic handwriting expert is called in a case to determine the authenticity of a signature, he first examines a set of known signatures, determining the range of natural variation, and then moving on, they will examine the disputed signature and the characteristics therein and determine whether they belong within or outside the boundaries of natural variation.
So can you explain a little bit in detail what you mean with natural variation?
Well, if we look at the signature and want to analyze it, we can divide the characteristics in two big groups. One would be the pictorial characteristics, the two-dimensional information of the shape, construction, and so on. And the other would be the dynamic characteristics, the pressure profile, the speed of execution, fluency, and so on. So these features are never identical, but they follow specific patterns. So the forensic handwriting expert will focus on these categories and try to define the pattern that is found in the slightly different executed signatures.
So can a forger incorporate both type of characteristics in his forgery attempt?
Well, the answer here is no, and the reason is that the forger will consciously try to copy a signature, whilst the owner of the signature will just automatically execute the fine motor program as it is recorded by his neuromuscular system. To give you an idea, the forger will either invest on the pictorial characteristics, executing a slow adaptation of the signature, trying to have as close as possible a similar shape, sacrificing the dynamic characteristics of signing, or they can invest in a more natural execution of their simulation attempt, losing the accuracy of the two-dimensional characteristics because it's not their automated signature. So every type of freehand simulation or freehand forgery will fall somewhere in between these two extremities.
So how does this translate into electronic handwritten signature data?
Well, first of all, if we consider the electronic handwritten signature as a high-speed recording of the spatial position of the tip of the stylus, the time, and the exercised force, then the first group of characteristics, which has to do with the pictorial features, the two-dimensional features, is quickly dealt with because you have all the information there. Regarding the dynamic aspects of handwriting, the electronic handwritten signature actually proves to be advantageous to the pen and paper product because it can provide, first of all, a quantifiable data set regarding the exercised force. In the pen and paper world, we approach that aspect of writing that we call pressure qualitatively by studying under the stereo microscope the ink trace on the paper substrate. In the digital world, we have the opportunity to look at figures, to look at numerical values with great accuracy, and therefore alter and advance our way of both understanding and evaluating the evidence that have to do with that dynamic aspect of writing. Furthermore, we can accurately measure time with the electronic handwritten signature, which is a feature that we never had access to. We could qualitatively, again, approximate the time derivative of space looking at velocity, speed of execution, but now we can actually measure the time of execution. We can measure speed of execution, acceleration, and so on. And that is a characteristic that is, first of all, untouchable when we are talking about pen and paper signatures, which means it will probably be unknown to the forger. And even if they do have a knowledge of our approximation of the time of execution of the model signature, it will be very difficult for them to succeed both in the execution of the pictorial characteristics within the very short natural time of execution of an original signature. But the most groundbreaking feature, if we are discussing about an electromagnetic resonance technology solution, is the ability of this equipment to record the pen position in air over the active area of the digitizer. This allows us to track and then visualize the inner movements, meaning the way that the pen and the hand move without touching the surface. And that gives us valuable information that is also inaccessible and unknown to the forger.
So in short, to summarize that, the electronic handwritten signature, makes it much harder for the forger to actually forge a signature because it provides the forensic document examiners then with a lot more data and a lot more tools to investigate the question signature.
That is correct. And the electronic handwritten signature, when it meets the requirement of the ADAS regulation, provides additional tools for other forensic specialists, like forensic IT experts, for example, that guarantee the temporal signature of the transaction and the location of the transaction. So yes, we have additional tools for the forensic handwriting expert, but also for other experts as well, leading to a very secure product.